In our digital world, every action leaves a trace. Every click, every message creates a ripple. We trust our secrets are safe, but this trust is fragile. Beneath the surface, shadows stir, revealing power and peril. Most see only smiling faces online, unaware of the silent flow of information. In these shadows, every click leaves a trail. This is the story of the Packet Sniffer, a journey into the unseen. Imagine the internet as a colossal, bustling highway system. Every time you go online, you send tiny vehicles, data packets, speeding along these digital roads. These packets travel at lightning speed, carrying fragments of emails, images, and passwords. But like any highway, it has vulnerabilities. Someone could watch the traffic, even peer inside. In the wrong hands, tools like packet sniffers can turn this highway into a place of risk, exposing your private information. What does it feel like to hold this power, to see the invisible, to unlock doors no one else knows exist? For Rafiq, a young coder in Nairobi, the packet sniffer was irresistible, a key to the hidden world of data. But with every secret revealed, the line between curiosity and intrusion blurred. The sniffer's call was strong, and Rafiq's journey into the shadows was just beginning. In a Nairobi high school computer lab, Rafiq, 17, moved faster than the aging machines around him. While classmates struggled, he optimized code, dreaming of outsmarting hackers. But his impatience matched his brilliance. Slow systems drove him mad. He saw the internet as a network of hidden pipes, desperate to understand its flow and fix its flaws. The slow school network he despised was about to become his first real playground, and his greatest lesson. The world of cybersecurity was calling, whispering of secrets hidden in plain sight.
All right, everyone, listen up. I know some of you are getting bored with our standard lessons. So, the IT department has decided to host our very first official school competition, the Capture the Flag Hackathon Edition.
A murmur of excitement rippled through the room as Mr. Kamau explained the rules. This wasn't about who could write the prettiest code or design the flashiest website. This was different. The Capture the Flag competition was a cybersecurity challenge. Teams would be tasked with finding hidden flags, pieces of text hidden inside a specially designed vulnerable network, while also defending their own systems from other teams. It was a game of digital offense and defense, a test of strategy, creativity, and technical skill. For most students, it sounded like a difficult, abstract puzzle. For Rafiq, it sounded like the most exciting thing he had ever heard. This was not a simulation. It was a live-fire exercise.
The goal is to teach you about real-world vulnerabilities. You'll learn about network security, cryptography, and how to think like both a defender and an attacker. But, and this is the most important rule, all activities must remain within the sandboxed competition network. Any attempt to probe the main school network will result in immediate disqualification.
Mr. Kamau's tone was firm, a clear warning that this game had serious boundaries. He wanted them to learn about the power of these tools, but also about the immense responsibility that came with wielding them. The line between ethical hacking and illegal activity was a bright one, and he wanted to ensure they never crossed it.
I wasn't just thinking about how to win, I was thinking about how to dominate. I needed an edge, a tool that would let me see the competition's network in a way no one else could.
The competition was still a week away, but for Rafiq, the hackathon had already begun. His quest for the perfect tool would lead him down a path of late-night research, a journey into the deeper, darker parts of the web where the most powerful software resided. The days leading up to the hackathon blurred into a series of late-night coding binges for Rafiq. Fueled by sugary sodas and an insatiable curiosity, he sat in his dimly lit room, the glow of his monitor painting shifting patterns on the walls. He scoured online forums, devoured technical manuals, and watched hours of tutorials from cybersecurity experts. He was searching for something specific, a way to monitor network traffic in real time. He knew that if he could see the raw data packets flying across the network during the competition, he would have an almost unbeatable advantage. It would be like having X-ray vision in a city of secrets. His search led him through a maze of technical jargon and complex software. He learned about proxies, firewalls, and intrusion detection systems. Then, on a shadowy corner of a cybersecurity forum, he saw a name mentioned repeatedly with a kind of reverence. Wireshark. The description was simple but powerful. It was a free and open-source packet analyzer. It could capture the traffic on a network and display it in a human-readable format. It was used by professionals around the world to troubleshoot, analyze, and secure networks. To Rafiq, it sounded less like a tool and more like a superpower.
When I downloaded Wireshark, my heart was pounding. The installation was easy, but launching it for the first time, wow, it was overwhelming. There were columns of numbers, timestamps, addresses, protocols, just a waterfall of data. But honestly, it was beautiful.
This was the raw, unfiltered language of the internet, the machine code of the digital world. Rafiq was no longer just a user looking at a screen. He was an observer with a front-row seat to the inner workings of the network.
I remembered Mr. Kamau's warning, so I decided to experiment only on my own home network. That felt like the responsible thing to do.
He selected his Wi-Fi interface and clicked Start. Instantly, the screen exploded with life, a torrent of data scrolling down, faster than his eyes could follow. Rafiq had just opened a window into a world he had only dreamed of seeing. As the packets flooded his screen, Rafiq felt like he'd finally dived beneath the surface of a digital river. He could see every request, every response, hundreds of packets in a single Google search, DNS requests, TCP handshakes, encrypted HTTPS traffic. Suddenly, it all made sense. He filtered traffic, isolated his phone's packets, and watched the silent chatter of his devices. Wireshark became his digital microscope, revealing the building blocks of the internet. Rafiq felt a new confidence. He was the Wi-Fi whiz, seeing the invisible currents that carried his code. Rafiq's curiosity with Wireshark grew, but his home network was too secure, everything encrypted, nothing to learn from. I wanted to see what an unsecured packet looked like. So he set up a local web server using plain HTTP. He entered fake credentials and captured the traffic. There it was, username and password in plain text. The vulnerability was real. Rafiq had captured his first packet and a dangerous piece of knowledge. Rafiq's home experiments had taught him theory, but the real world was messier. With the capture the flag competition looming, he needed a wilder training ground. The local Nairobi cafe, with its free public Wi-Fi, was perfect.
I told myself I'd just observe, not interfere, like people watching but digital.
The cafe's Wi-Fi was open, unsecured, and teeming with data. He launched Wireshark, and the torrent of information was staggering. Rafiq was no longer just a student, he was an eavesdropper. At first, the data was overwhelming, a roaring digital waterfall. But Rafiq applied filters, revealing unencrypted whispers in the cafe air. It was like hearing everyone's secrets at once.
I saw search terms, private messages, even usernames and passwords scroll by in plain text. The power was immense, yet chilling. The thrill faded, replaced by a creeping sense of dread.
While monitoring network traffic, Rafiq noticed unencrypted data from a popular online marketplace. He watched as a user logged in, their credentials exposed in plain text. Suddenly, he realized he'd captured a stranger's email and password by accident. His heart pounded as the weight of what he'd done hit him. The thrill vanished, replaced by regret. He had crossed a line, and he knew it. Later that day, Rafiq sat with his best friend Lena at a park bench, the bustling energy of Nairobi a stark contrast to the turmoil churning inside him. He confessed everything: the experiment at the cafe, the unencrypted traffic, and the accidental capture of the login credentials. Lena's concern was immediate. Rafiq, that's not just data. That's a person's identity. What you did, it's probably illegal. The act of intercepting private communications is the crime itself. Curiosity is not a legal defense. But I didn't use it. I deleted the log file as soon as I got home. What if someone with bad intentions had been sitting there instead of you? The weight of his secret wasn't just about the password, it was about the ethical line he'd crossed. After his conversation with Lena, Rafiq stood at a crossroads. Abandon his discovery or use it for good. The thrill was gone, replaced by guilt and a sense of responsibility. But what if he could use his skills to help others understand the risks? The upcoming hackathon was the perfect chance. Rafiq and Lena would build a project to teach, not exploit. He chose the light, ready to make a difference. The day of the capture. The flag hackathon arrived, and honestly, you could just feel this electric energy buzzing through the school's largest computer lab. Teams clustered together, sketching out strategies on whiteboards and whispering in these intense competitive tones. But you know, Rafiq and Lena, their approach was totally different.
We're not here just to grab the most flags or break into someone's defenses. Our mission is all about education.
Yeah, let's turn our part of this competition into an actual lesson. Something that really sticks. We want to show everyone what good cybersecurity looks like, not just talk about it.
They weren't just playing the game, they were trying to change how everyone thought about it. Their goal was to shift the focus from just winning to building real awareness about security. Their plan was ambitious and honestly, super detailed. They decided to split their presentation into two parts.
First, we'll set up a fake public Wi-Fi, just like that cafe one. I'll design a portal that looks super friendly and harmless, something anyone would trust.
And then I'll use Wireshark to show in real time how unencrypted data can be intercepted. We'll actually prove how easy it is for someone to see your secrets online.
They wanted to show, not just tell the audience how their digital secrets could be exposed without them ever knowing. The second part of their plan was all about solutions.
It's not enough to scare people. We need to give them the tools to protect themselves.
We'll talk about HTTPS, how it wraps your web traffic in encryption, and we'll explain VPNs, how they create a private tunnel even on a public network.
Their project was really a complete story. First the problem, then the proof, and finally the protection. It was a blueprint for an ethical hack meant to build up security, not tear it down.
Honestly, I feel a sense of calm I've never felt before. All that guilt from the cafe. It's just fuel for this mission now.
We're not just coders here, we're advocates for everyone's safety online.
While other teams sharpened their digital swords, Rafiq and Lena were polishing a shield, ready to teach everyone how to use it. Their project was more than just a shot at winning. It was an act of redemption. The first few hours of the hackathon were just this whirlwind of activity. Rafiq and Lena worked together so smoothly that even other teams couldn't help but notice.
I'll code up a simple, convincing captive portal for our fake Wi-Fi. Let's call it Hackathon Guest Net. It'll look super friendly, ask for a username and email, and just run on plain old HTTP.
It was the perfect digital mousetrap, designed to look totally safe, but actually testing how easily people could be tricked. Lena knew that good design could create a false sense of security, which is honestly just as risky as any technical flaw. That was a huge part of their demo.
Meanwhile, I'll set up my laptop as the router and monitoring station. Wireshark's ready to filter out HTTP traffic, DNS queries, even plain text cookies. I want to be able to show exactly what's happening, packet by packet.
Unlike that secret operation at the cafe, everything here was out in the open and approved by the judges. Rafiq was using his skills for something he could be proud of.
We need volunteers, other students, maybe a couple of judges, to connect to our network and try out some fake, non-secure websites.
As people joined, their screens lit up with activity. Rafiq could see it all. DNS requests showing which sites people were visiting, usernames and emails appearing in plain text, line after line of evidence piling up on his screen.
This is working exactly as we planned. And the best part? All the data is fake, and everyone knows it's just a simulation.
This safe, controlled environment was key to their ethical approach. No real data was at risk. Rafiq and Lena weren't just showing off. They were creating a real learning experience, building a compelling case that the biggest threat to online security is, honestly, just not knowing the risks. Their presentation was almost ready. With their digital trap set and evidence in hand, Rafiq and Lena were ready for the heart of their presentation, the educational deep dive. This was the moment to move past the wow of sniffing data and get into the real how and why behind cybersecurity.
Okay, everyone, take a look. This is what the internet looks like under the hood. It's noisy, it's messy, and it's full of secrets.
Rafiq applied his first filter, showing only unencrypted HTTP traffic. The screen instantly became clearer.
Here's the login from Judge Boalia's phone when he connected to our portal.
He pointed out the exact spot in the packet data where the username Judge B popped up in plain text. The crowd murmured in surprise. He showed another packet, this one revealing a student's search term on a simulated non-secure site. Suddenly, the dangers of data sniffing weren't just abstract. They were real, and right there for everyone to see.
Now let's look at what happens when a site uses encryption.
He switched to a pre-recorded stream from an HTTPS website, showing a screen filled with unreadable jumbled characters.
My Packet Sniffer can still see the traffic moving back and forth, but the contents, the username, the password, the messages, they're all scrambled. It's like trying to read a letter that's been shredded into a million pieces and written in some language you don't even know.
Lena stepped up to break down the concepts even further.
Think of HTTPS like a sealed, tamper-proof envelope, and a VPN as a private armored car for your data. Always look for that padlock icon in your browser. It means your information is safe.
Together, they explained how data packets are like digital postcards, easily read by anyone along the route unless they're protected inside that encrypted envelope. Their message was clear and powerful. They weren't just hacking, they were teaching. They were turning a tool of espionage into an instrument of education. As Rafiq and Lena moved into the final phase of their presentation, they broadened their scope from their small simulated network to the school itself. This was, honestly, the boldest part of their plan.
The vulnerabilities we've shown you aren't just theoretical, they exist everywhere, even here. Our own school's student Wi-Fi network has some of these same weaknesses.
This statement sent a ripple of shock through the audience, and Mr. Kamau, who was watching from the back, leaned forward with intense interest. This was no longer just a game.
We want to be clear. We have not actively sniffed the school's main network. We respected the competition's primary rule. Instead, we just performed a passive analysis of the network's configuration, something anyone could do. For example, the school's guest Wi-Fi portal, which is used by visitors and sometimes students, doesn't enforce HTTPS on its login page. This means that every single time a guest logs in, their password is sent in the clear, just like in our demonstration. Anyone in the parking lot with a laptop could potentially intercept it.
They weren't accusing anyone, they were simply stating verifiable facts. But they didn't just point out the problem, they offered clear, actionable solutions.
Implementing WPA3 security would make it much harder for attackers to eavesdrop on traffic. Forcing all school web services, especially login pages, to use HTTPS is a simple but critical fix. And educating students to use a trusted VPN when on any public network would add another powerful layer of protection.
Their project had evolved from a simple demonstration into a full-blown professional security audit, complete with a list of prioritized recommendations. The judges were visibly impressed. The project was technically brilliant, ethically sound, and had immediate real-world applications. The other students were captivated, seeing for the first time how the abstract concepts from their IT classes applied directly to their own daily lives. Rafiq and Lena had successfully hijacked the hackathon, transforming it from a contest of skill into a powerful forum for security advocacy. They had used the Packet Sniffer not as a weapon, but as a diagnostic tool, a flashlight to illuminate the dark, forgotten corners of their own digital environment. Their victory seemed all but certain. As the judges deliberated, panic erupted near the IT admin's desk.
Everyone, we have a real security breach. Student emails were leaked from our server. Someone used a Packet Sniffer to hijack an admin session.
The attack happened during the hackathon. The logs show Wireshark running on your machine, Rafiq.
Suspicion filled the room. Rafiq and Lena's skills, once celebrated, now made them suspects. Their project, meant to showcase ethical hacking, had become evidence against them. The line between white hat and black hat had never felt thinner. The hackathon's excitement vanished. All eyes were on Rafiq, the Wi-Fi whiz.
Rafiq, we need your logs. The school has zero tolerance for breaches.
We'll cooperate. Our captures were only on the Sandbox network. We can prove it.
Lena's confidence steadied Rafiq. His logs would show only ethical activity, but proving innocence wasn't enough. The real attacker was still out there. Rafiq realized they had to use their skills to unmask the true hacker. The real challenge had just begun. The walk to the principal's office was heavy with accusation.
Rafiq, your skills are impressive, but your laptop ran packet sniffing software during the attack. Explain.
We only used Wireshark on our sandbox network. Our logs will prove it. No school server traffic.
Rafiq pleaded for trust, clinging to his innocence. The evidence was circumstantial, but the burden was real. Lena's support was his anchor. Now, only the logs could clear his name.
A clever attacker could fake logs.
But the real proof is in the packets. The attack's digital fingerprint will reveal the truth.
Rafiq's logs showed only sandbox traffic. The school's firewall logs told a different story.
The attacker used a mobile device. See the user agent string.
Relief washed over Rafiq. The evidence exonerated him. The real attacker's device was different. The investigation had a new lead. Rafiq and Lena were no longer suspects. They were now the school's best hope. The hunt for the real culprit was on.
Every device has a unique MAC address. If we match the attack's timestamp to the Wi-Fi logs, we'll find the device.
Let's cross-reference the logs.
The principal's office became a digital forensics lab.
Here's the MAC address that sent the malicious packet.
It didn't match any registered school device, a ghost in the system. They had the attacker's digital fingerprint. Now, they just needed to find the person holding the device.
We can locate the device on the network map.
It's still active in the main computer lab.
They returned to the lab. Miss Onyango pointed to a group of seniors.
Ken, let me see your phone.
Ken's face went pale. The MAC address matched. The evidence was indisputable.
I don't feel triumphant, just relieved and a little sad.
The accusation was lifted, but the lessons of the day would last far longer. In the principal's office, Ken confessed he'd hacked the school out of jealousy, not malice.
I just wanted to prove something.
It was a petty act, born from envy, Rafiq realized. Intent and character define a hacker, not skill. Ken's knowledge caused harm. Rafiq's protected others. The ordeal became a lesson in ethics and redemption for everyone. A week after the hackathon, the school gathered for a special assembly. The story of Rafiq and Lena's role in solving the data breach had spread, and now they were heroes. Principal Abdi honored their integrity and skill, announcing a special commendation for their team. The grand prize went to Rafiq and Lena for their innovative project and ethical choices. As they held the trophy, Rafiq realized their victory was about more than code. It was about trust, responsibility, and inspiring change. In the wake of the hackathon and the real-world security breach, a new energy coursed through the school. The abstract dangers of the digital world had been made real, and honestly, students were hungry for knowledge. Capitalizing on this momentum, Mr. Kamau made another announcement at the assembly.
I'm excited to announce the formation of a brand new, student-led organization, the Cyber Hygiene Club. Its mission will be to promote digital safety, educate peers on best practices, and of course continue to explore the world of ethical hacking in a safe and structured environment. And with a big smile, I am proud to say that its founding co-presidents will be Rafiq and Lena.
The idea was met with immediate enthusiasm. Students who had previously shown little interest in IT were suddenly curious about things like VPNs, password managers, and two-factor authentication. The club's first meeting was packed, held in the same computer lab where the hackathon drama had unfolded. Rafiq and Lena, standing at the front of the room, were no longer just students. They were leaders.
Our vision for the club is pretty simple, but powerful. We will host weekly workshops on topics like spotting phishing emails and securing your home Wi-Fi networks. We will also bring in guest speakers from the tech industry and prepare for future cybersecurity competitions.
And I will be focusing on creating educational materials that make these topics easy to understand and, well, actually fun to learn. We will have posters around the school with tips like think before you click, encrypt your life, and friends don't let friends use public Wi-Fi unprotected.
Rafiq, meanwhile, developed technical workshops, guiding club members through the basics of using tools like Wireshark for network analysis within a specially created virtual sandbox. He was teaching the very skills that had once put him under suspicion, but now in a context of pure education and defense. The club became a positive force for change within the school, transforming the fear and uncertainty following the breach into proactive, positive action. It created a community where digital curiosity was encouraged, but always guided by a strong ethical compass.
Teaching others, sharing what I know. It feels amazing. I am helping to build a human firewall, a network of informed and vigilant students who can protect themselves and each other.
The Packet Sniffer had inadvertently made Rafiq a suspect, but it had ultimately made him a teacher. A few days after the award ceremony, Rafiq received an email that made his heart leap. The sender was Miss Onyango, the school's formidable IT administrator. The subject line simply read, "An opportunity." With a mix of nerves and curiosity, he opened it. The email was brief and to the point. She had been incredibly impressed not only with his technical analysis during the investigation, but also with his composure and integrity under pressure. She had shared the story with a contact of hers, the CEO of a prominent cybersecurity startup in Nairobi. The CEO was looking for bright, passionate young talent for a new internship program. The email contained an invitation for Rafiq to visit the startup's offices for an interview. It was a paid internship, a chance to work with professional penetration testers and security analysts on real-world projects. It was the dream he had been working toward, the future he had imagined, arriving far sooner than he ever thought possible. This wasn't just a prize or a club presidency. This was a real-world validation of his skills and a launchpad for his career. It was a direct consequence of his choice to use his knowledge ethically when he and Lena decided to pivot their hackathon project.
You earned this, Rafiq. You showed them what you could do, but more importantly, you showed them who you are.
He knew she was right. If he had used his skills to covertly win the hackathon, he might have won a trophy, but he never would have earned this opportunity. It was his ethical stance, his collaboration with Lena, and his willingness to help solve a problem he didn't create that had opened this door. The path of integrity had led to a far greater reward than the path of deceit ever could have. The interview was a whirlwind. He met with engineers and security architects who spoke his language, who shared his passion for deconstructing and securing complex systems. He didn't just talk about theory, he talked about his experience with Wireshark, about analyzing the school's network logs, and about the importance of user education. He spoke with a confidence born from real experience. By the end of the day, they officially offered him the position. Rafiq, the 17-year-old Wi-Fi whiz from Nairobi, was about to become a professional cybersecurity intern. His future was no longer a dream, it was a reality waiting to begin. As the story of Rafiq's journey concludes, we see him walking into the modern, bustling office of the cybersecurity firm for his first day as an intern. He looks determined, hopeful, and ready for the challenges ahead. Rafiq's journey began with a tool and a spark of curiosity. He learned that with great power, and a packet sniffer, comes an even greater responsibility. The digital world is full of doors, and knowledge is the key. But a key can be used to lock or to unlock, to protect or to trespass. Rafiq learned the most important lesson of all. The ultimate firewall isn't made of code, it's made of character. It's the choice to build rather than break, to defend rather than attack, to educate rather than exploit. Always use a VPN on public Wi-Fi. Never send passwords over unencrypted HTTP. Enable multi-factor authentication everywhere you can. And never ever sniff traffic you don't own or have explicit permission to monitor. The power to see the invisible is in your hands. The tools are out there, more accessible than ever before. The question you must ask yourself is the same one Rafiq faced. What will you do with it? Will you be a force for chaos or a force for good? The choice is yours to make with every line of code you write, every network you analyze, and every action you take in the shadows of the digital world. Skill is meaningless without ethics. Rafiq learned to sniff the right side of the law. He chose to use his key to build a safer world for everyone. Our digital future depends on more people making that same choice. Encrypt, defend, empower. Rafiq's journey from curious student to cybersecurity professional is more than a story about technology. The Packet Sniffer, a simple tool, became a catalyst for self-discovery and responsibility. Guided by Lena, he learned that true expertise means using knowledge to protect, not exploit. Rafiq's story reminds us, our greatest technical achievements are meaningless without a strong moral compass. The echo of the sniffer is a call to look inward before we look outward. The world is more connected than ever. Our lives and futures flow through global networks, full of opportunity but also risk. Rafiq's story is a call to action for digital pioneers. Learn, build, and protect. Respect privacy, act ethically, and collaborate. Use your skills for good. The digital frontier is waiting. Pick up your tools. Your journey starts now.